Well, David, what are we looking at here today?
This is a Tavistock colt out of a mare called Eshizo that actually Te Akau trained. She was a very good mare by Costa del Lago, and she herself is out of Grand Eshizo, who of course left Burgundy and Darcy Brahma, one of the great brood mares that New Zealand's ever had. So with this colt you've got Tavistock, then you've got in Costa del Lago, Danehill and Vice Regal, some of the best stallions we've seen in the Southern Hemisphere in my lifetime.
When they're parading, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for firstly an athlete, so this horse I don't think will make a 2-year-old, but he'll train into being a really top looking 3-year-old, and he could be a Derby colt. Just walk him up please. Very classy colt. He's got a great girth, obviously got a really good constitution, well behaved sort of horse, good attitude, and a horse that looks very athletic to me.
A lot of ticks?
Yes, definitely. And it's a family that Te Akau's had enormous success with Mark Walker and Jamie Richards, both training winners in the family.
David, it's a very busy time of year for you. What does the yearling selection process look like?
Well, it's my hobby looking at yearlings, so I love it. It's my favourite time of the year, and it's a terrific amount of fun going around with my friends, Joe Walls and Marcus Corbin, and today we've had Sir Patrick Hogan here, and it's a lot of fun. We make it fun, but the real satisfaction is when you go to the Karaka Million night and see the horses winning.
Who's involved in the selection process?
Well, Jamie Richards, Joe Walls, Marcus Corbin. We've got a really good team, and then our vet Doug Black and his practice fine-tune it a bit, but it's a team that's worked really well for a number of years. The final choice of what we buy and the price is mine, but yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it together.
When does that selection process start?
Really, in April, May, I go around the farms and look at a lot of weanlings, and then the catalogue comes out and gets delivered to Te Akau in early November, and I spend the next month looking at the catalogue every night and looking to see genetic nicks that I think will be successful, ones that I don't like are noted, and then we go around and look at all the yearlings.
How does this year's yearling crop compare to other years?
I think there's a vintage crop of yearlings at Karaka this year, and it's going to create some unique opportunities for people that want to get into buying a racehorse or getting into a potential broodmare in years to come. This is the year to do it because there's no overseas buyers here, and you know, I'm hoping the competition will be a bit less and that we'll be able to buy some potential champions.
How many yearlings would you have seen so far this year?
Probably 700.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of time and very tiring, but it's something we love doing.
Why should people invest in the New Zealand racing industry?
Well, I think there's really good news on the way. I think firstly, this year we've got an extra $12 million in duty reduction. We've got another $20 million from Racefields legislation, and the TAB have taken probably $20 to $25 million in costs out of the industry. But the great news is that the turnover has been at record levels, so that those things all lead to stake increases in years to come. And also Te Akau loves taking horses to Australia, and of course the stake money there is at record levels, and so it's a great time to be part of this great industry.
And how can people get involved in a Te Akau syndicate?
By just giving me a ring anytime. They're welcome. We love it when people ring me and they come out to the sales, and they all say they're just amazed how welcome they're made to feel by Karen and myself.
And of course, David Ellis and the Karaka team, so important to the New Zealand racing industry. They were leading purchaser last year, $6.5 million spent. And just wanted to bring it back to a chat around expectations for the sale. Danny, what are yours?
Look, we were really buoyed by the ready-to-run sale. You know, it could have gone either way. We weren't in lockdown, of course, but we had the closed border as we do here. But what that proved to us is that our systems are in place, our technology is robust, and that our customers are willing to use it and buy remotely. So, but at the same time, we're very realistic. We've got 3 times as many horses. It's a very different sale to the 2-year-old sale. So what that says to me is it's a great opportunity for people to buy this year. It really is.
And for you, Michael?
I think the bottom line has to be heard. One of the smartest things I heard was from one of our top agents who said to me, a lot of Australians come to the sale to buy 1 or 2 horses, but they buy 1 or 3 because they get here and they buy a horse because you're on the grounds and you think you can take it home and sell it, and you can. But I think we're going to lose some of that, just a little bit. It's impossible to tell how much of that. I do think there'll be a strong rebound in the domestic market for a couple of reasons. The buoyancy around New Zealand racing's future, and the fact that our economy, the New Zealand economy, has been very strong, hasn't been hit by COVID, and the discretionary spending from people who would usually have gone overseas to Europe, some of our richer clients. They'll go overseas and they'll spend that money. They haven't been going and doing that. So that's been shown again in the house market, in the luxury boat market, in the luxury car market. I think it won't be a hard sell, particularly with money so cheap, Emily, for trainers to say to people, I've got horses here. We saw that at the ready-to-runs. We had David Ellis on earlier. Karaka basically sold all their ready-to-run horses inside 36 hours.
Yeah, it's a remarkable achievement, isn't it? So let's find out from the vendors what they're most looking forward to at Karaka 2021.
Well, for me, I'm most looking forward to a high clearance rate. That's the most important thing from a business perspective. So hopefully we can find homes and obviously for good prices. That's my perspective anyway.
It's a great opportunity for New Zealanders to buy too, and it'd be great to see all new buyers there, because it's great fun, and if you can get people that aren't in racing to enjoy it. We had David Ellis here the other day, and he said to one of our clients, if you get a horse it can change your life, a top horse. And yeah, so let's hope they're all there and bidding.
I'm really looking forward to being at the tent this year. We've got a new beer sponsor in Shining Peak Brewery, and we're going to have freshly poured beer on tap there by them. So come along to the tent and have a beer with us.
Like the same as every year, it'd have to be the Karaka Million really. It's just such a great night of racing. It really sets the tone for the rest of the week. It gives everyone a bit of excitement heading into it, and you know, it's short and sweet and everyone wants to be there and wants to win. So it's just a great way to kick off the week at Karaka.
I'm actually really looking forward to the sale on a whole. We don't have the number there that we usually have, and therefore I think there'll probably be a bit more of an enjoyment side to it, and we'll be able to focus on the individual horses a whole lot more.
Selling 44 horses. But listen, it's going to be different. You know, we're always up for a challenge. Everyone's in the same boat. You know, let's hope that the rub off of the ready to run. It's a completely different sale, and you know, different stock, different ideas. It's a lot more emotion, I think, that comes in with yearlings and your contacts and your acquaintances that you've had that just, you know, not going to quite be there without the internationals coming. So it's going to be something different.
Probably just hopefully some of the domestic trainers stepping up. I think there's a real opportunity for the domestic trainers and owners to indulge. Normally with the Australians and the Asians here, it's very hard for the New Zealanders to compete strongly, other than of course Karaka, who you know, always one of our more prolific buyers. But a lot of the other buyers, you know, they struggle to get onto those good horses and buy them well. So I think this year the door's been opened for them to really step up and have a crack this year. And the standard of horse is not going to be any less. It's just a matter of the competition for those horses is probably going to be similar, won't be the same as other years.
I think the thing I'm going to look most forward to at Karaka this year is the Karaka Millions. We've got Evan Arlo heading there at the stage from Jamie Richards' stable. He's an ex-Karaka graduate. Look, yeah, it sets the sale off, doesn't it? And it is the race meeting to be at now. And then to get to the sales, look, I look forward to Karaka every year. It is the highlight of the year. It's sort of like a second home for us. I love getting up there and I love selling the horses. I love being in the sale ring.
Look, I think all vendors look forward to getting up there and getting out of there, actually. But yeah, look, it's always a nerve-wracking thing, you know, until the last horse goes through the ring, anything can happen. You know what thoroughbreds are like. I mean, it's the first time a lot of them, when they leave the farm, have been off the farm, been on a horse truck, and getting up there safe and sound is our main mission at this stage. And once we get up there, we're just looking forward to presenting them to people and putting them through the ring, and then we can all sit down and put our feet up after the last lot goes through the ring. Yeah.
Well, that's what the vendors are looking forward to, but what about what we're looking forward to? Danny, what's really piquing your interest for the sale?
Well, I've been thinking about this long and hard, and it would be easy to say the Karaka Million Night, the atmosphere here on the grounds, all those sorts of things. But, you know, for me personally, you know, what I'm really looking forward to is seeing New Zealand on show. You know, the New Zealand Bloodstock team, New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing, the Bloodstock Agents Federation, New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing putting on the show, and then all our vendors, buyers and internationals really bonding together and putting on a great show and showing just the strength of New Zealand.
What about for you, Michael?
Em, I think it's a really good opportunity. There's an old saying, goes back centuries, which is when there's blood on the street, buy real estate, which means when other people aren't willing to buy things, you can. There's still going to be a very strong ready-to-run sale here in November, which the world could be a vastly different place for. There's still going to be markets overseas where they want to purchase horses. Now, I don't think by any means there's going to be a huge drop in the average here, but there's going to be people watching this in New Zealand who can say, hey, I might be in the game here, and if I'm in the game in a year's time when this horse is 2, there's a chance I can sell it to someone else or race it for really good money, or when it's 3, Alizé's going to be a vastly different place. So I'm going to try and buy the right horse, and I think there'll be really good money for horses who scope well and x-ray out well. There'll be some horses who struggle, but that's every sale in the world. But I do think there's an opportunity here for people who want to grow horses. And yes, there might be some Australians coming in, Emily. There's also plenty of New Zealanders who aren't going to other places. They may not go to the Gold Coast. They may not go to Sydney for those sales because they'll stay here and try and buy locally as well. So I think it's going to be really interesting how all that fits together.
Yeah, it's my favourite time of the year here in New Zealand, the Karaka Million into the sales. It's great to showcase what we can do. I can't let you both go without getting a Karaka Million tip. Got the 2 big races to choose from, and in fact, a whole night of quality racing. Danny, your tip and why?
I'm going with the Amaralina this year for the Karaka Million 3-year-old mile. I just like what she's done to date. She's by Savabeel, who's going so well, obviously, comes from the right stable, and you know, it's going to be a mouth-watering clash with Aegon, isn't it?
Sure is. And for you, Michael?
I like Sneaky Shark. I think he's a horse who's had no luck so far, and he could well be the horse to beat in the 2-year-old race. I wouldn't be stunned if Danielle Johnson ends up on him as the number 1 for Tiakau with Obi suspended. I do think it's a very special night because we're going to see an unbeaten Aegon and a tremendously exciting Levante in other races on the card. Both horses who I believe are good enough to win Group 1s in Australia potentially later this year. So the race day will be fantastic. Nice entree, but we've got a pretty serious main course coming up here.
We sure have. It's one of my favourite weeks on New Zealand calendar. Quality horse flesh through the race meeting and of course then into the sales. If you'd like to get involved in the New Zealand Bloodstock Karaka Yearling sale, you can do so online at www.nzb.co.nz or also on Freeview. It's been a pleasure to have your company on the 2021 Karaka Preview Show, and we look forward to you joining us at the sale itself.